Welcome my dear students. In the last class we have learned about the constructors. So we have seen this program also, right? So now we are going to be learning the next concept is that is parameterized constructor. Parameterized constructor means in the constructor method it consists of arguments. So in the last class also we have explained this program. This program is also one of a parameterized constructor. Okay, so if you observe here int x comma int y is there. This is the method name, and this method name is constructed based on your class name. Got it? So likewise you have mentioned your constructor. So this is a parameterized constructor. So parameterized constructor in the sense it consists of arguments in the methods. Okay, so if you observe this program you will identify what is the parameterized constructor. Here we are defining the name of the class is my class. Okay, and we are declaring the variable int x. Now my class, what is my class? Afterwards we are using the parenthesis, means it is a method, right? With the name of a class I'm constructing the method, and it is having a parameter. That parameter is int I. This I indicates parameterized constructor. Sorry, parameterized constructor. Yes, it is a parameter is there, and whatever the variable you have defined here x, you are assigning that parameter. Okay, here the class is end. Now I'm starting the another class. So what is the name of the class? Param cons demo. Param cons demo. Now I'm writing the main method public static void main string args of. Afterwards I'm declaring the argument object of my class. Now what is the name of the object? That is t1. Now I'm creating. While creating we have to supply the values, because we should know what is the definition of constructor. What is the definition of a constructor? Constructor is a special method which can be automatically initialize the method whenever an object of a class is being created. So whenever I'm creating the object of the class, we have to pass this argument. This argument will be transferred here as I. Now in the x it is storing as 10. Okay, here it is a parameter and it is an argument. Now we are taking another class, my class t2, that is new my class of 88. So I am supplying the argument 88. Whenever a object is created, then I is automatically initialized as 88. So that is the definition. In the x it is having 88. That should be stored in your object t2. Whenever you are displaying t1.x, this t1 object dot x value is 10. It is displaying 10. T2 object t2.x, we are accessing the value 88. Okay, so likewise you can use parameterized constructor. Now we will see one more example related to this parameterized constructor. Okay, you have to give more attention on this program. I hope it is visible, right? Whenever I am explaining the program I will make a zoom. Now let me take this one. So this is one of a very important program. This question is not asked, but whenever the parameterized constructor question is asked, you have to supposed to write this answer. Okay, adding constructor to the vehicle class. So we are taking the vehicle class. For that vehicle class, what we are doing, we are supposed to be using constructor. Now let us see this program carefully. Here this class vehicle is consist of passengers. We are going to be initializing the passengers. Fuel capacity, fuel cap means fuel capacity. mpg means it is miles per gallon, mileage. Okay, miles per gallon in the sense mileage. So you are having your vehicles, you should know what is the passenger capacity. Suppose if you are using the two tire, in the two tire means in the your I think your scooter, right? Your scooter capacity of a passenger is only either 1 or 2, either you or your friend, and if it is adjustable it is a 3 person, right? Fuel capacity, as you know, what is the fuel capacity of your scooter, and miles per gallon. So what is the mileage it is giving? So according to this we are constructing a program. Now I am seeing the name of the class. Please observe what is the name of the class. vehicle. In the vehicle class, what are the variables I am defining? I am defining the passengers, fuel capacity, MPG as the data members. That is a variable declarations. Okay. For this, please observe here. I'm having I'm having I'm having the same constructor. So what is the name of the constructor? The name of the constructor is vehicle. So what is the name of the class? Vehicle. So by using this vehicle, so here the name of the class is exist vehicle. So by using the name of the class only we are constructing the method, right? Then it is a constructor. In this it consists of a parameters, then it is called as a parameter constructors. So here I am defining three integer variable p comma f comma m because we have declared here three integer variables. For the passenger variable I am assigning p argument as a parameter, fuel capacity variable I am assigning f parameter, and mpg I am assigning m parameter. Okay, so afterwards let me see what I am doing. So what I am doing, let me come here, just a minute, just a minute. Okay, now I am coming here. So I am doing range. Okay, just a minute, it has missed. Yes, this is the program, right? Next I am constructing one more method. What is the name of the method? Int range. In which class? Vehicle class. Okay, in vehicle class only I am constructing range. In the range I am calculating the range. So how to calculate the range? Miles per gallon into fuel capacity. So then you can identify what is the range of your vehicle will come. Okay, next I am constructing one more method. That method is fuel needed. So now it comes for the fuel needed. For example, if you want to travel 100 kilometers, if you are 1000 kilometers, your vehicle gives mileage as 50 liters per 50 kilometer per liter. Then how much of petrol is required? Okay, how much of a fuel is required? Got it? So to calculate that we have estimated in the range. Now we are calculating the fuel needed. So we are calculating the fuel needed. So for fuel needed I am taking the parameter as a miles. It is the name of the method. That method is declared as double. It is not a constructor. Here it is not a constructor, only the vehicle is only the constructor. Okay, fuel needed int miles. Whenever I am supplying the miles, if I am supplying the distance, I can identify what is the fuel capacity is required. Fuel is required. Okay, then how to calculate that fuel? Miles per mpg. What is mpg? mpg stands for miles per gallon. Okay, so now you find the number of liters it requires. Okay, now I'm coming here. Please observe here. That is the end of the class, and I'm coming this. Now I'm writing the class. What is the name of the class? Vehicle cons demo. Next I'm writing the main method. So in the main method I'm defining vehicle minivan. For vehicle class I'm creating the object. What is the name of the object? Minivan. So in the minivan I'm supplying 7 passenger capacity, 16 liters 16 as a this. What is this? You just observe here. Fuel capacity is 16 and 21 is mileage. Okay, so if you are taking the minivan, its capacity is 7 and 16 is the mileage, and 21 is 16 is the fuel capacity. Is it fuel capacity? No. Yes, fuel capacity is 16 and mileage is 21 kilometer. Okay, if I take the same class as a sports car, I'm creating, please observe here, vehicle sports car is equal to new vehicle of, I'm creating. While creating I'm initializing. Why? Because it is a parameterized constructor, right? So it is capacity of a sports car is 2 and its miles is 14, and fuel capacity is 14 and its mileage is 12. Okay, now I'm taking the double gallon. Now I'm specifying the int distance. So what is the distance? 252 kilometers. Okay, for 252 kilometers how many liters of petrol is required? So fuel is required. So to process this I'm taking gallons is equal to minivan dot fuel needed. Minivan dot fuel needed. What is minivan? Minivan is your object and fuel needed is, we have to calling that method. Where is the fuel needed? It will come here, fuel needed, right? Whenever the fuel needed is come here, we are supplying the miles. How many distance? We have given it is a 252, right? So 252 will come here, 252 by mileage mpg. So what is the mpg of which minivan? Mileage is here, it is there already, it is 21, right? So 21. So based on that you are calculating. Okay, if you get the confusion, I will once again take this. Now observe carefully. So this is your program, vehicle, range and double. Now you are supplying these values. Whenever you are supplying these values, it will be assigned. So mpg means automatically m is of 21. So what is the mileage of a minivan? 21 kilometer. So what is the fuel capacity here suggesting as 16-liter tank? Okay, it will in 16 liters, 1 liter give 21 kilometers of range. Okay, so here calculating the range. Here not we are calculating the range, we are calculating the fuel needed. For the distance of 252, I am calculating the fuel need that it will returns and it will be stored in the gallons. So to go the distance of 252 miles, minivan need sum of a gallons, right? Here the gallons of fuel is required. The processing statement will display. And if you use a sports car, once again you are calculating and you are displaying the result. Got it? Yes. Now our next concept is new operator. Next our concept is new operator. Already we are familiar with new operator. By using this new operator, you are creating the object. Okay, objects in Java are created using the new operator. The new operator creates an object of the specified class and returns a reference to that object. Okay, the general form of the new operator, if you see the syntax here, the class variable class object is equal to new class name of. This is the class variable. Whenever the class variable is used with a new, then this class variable is termed as an object. Okay, this is the syntax. Here we are defining rectangle rect1. We are declaring the variable of this class, and whenever you are using the new, this variable is turning as an object. So it is the declaration, it is an instantiation. Instantiation means creation of an object. Okay, so this two statement can be write by using here. So here the graphical representation is doing when they are declaring, it doesn't know where to point. Whenever you are creating, it is definitely know where to supposed to point. Okay, so this is the usage of new operator. This question has asked. Almost this chapter is very important. You just go through this. And the next our concept is, this is also very important concept. This concept is called as a garbage collection and finalizer method, right? Okay, constructor, as we know, to use to initialization of an object whenever it is created. This process is called as initialization, right? Now we are going to learning the concept of finalization. The finalization in the sense exactly opposite of initialization. Okay, just opposite of initialization is finalization. In Java, runtime is an automatic garbage collection system. After the whenever you are running the program, after the terminating of that program, whatever the memory has created, whatever the memory has occupied, it will be removed. Okay, so that is the thing. It is called as a garbage collection system. It automatically free up the memory resource used by that object. Here it is clearly given. Okay, this question will ask in the form of 6 marks, like final, finalizer and finally. Please observe here, final, finalize and finally. Likewise it will ask, if you are using a variable with final keyword, then it act as a constant. If you use the finalize method, then that is the purpose of destructor. Okay, hope you are understanding this concept. So you can identify the importance of a finalize method, but object may hold other non-object resources such as file descriptors or Windows system fonts. So you are removing that memory spaces of an object, but you are unable to remove whatever the font, whatever the description, it has been occupied by that object. So to free up that resources of objects, then we are going to be using finalizer method. Okay, So this is similar to your destructor. Now we will see the finalize method in the general syntax. Protected void finalize. Here the protected is modifier, as you are familiar with public, private and protected. So here we are defining it as a protected. Protected in the sense it can be accessed by its own class and the friend of this class. Okay, so that is the visibility of this finalize. Okay, now if you are using this finalize method means you are explicitly clearing the object. Okay, let us see here a sample program. I hope it is visible. Let me make. Let us see here demonstration of garbage collection and finalize method. Now the name of the class is fdemo. In the fdemo, what you are defining? You are defining the variable int x. Okay, then what is fdemo of int I? Fdemo of int I is constructor, because name of the class, by within the name of the class what you are doing, you are building a method. Got it? So for this you are assigning the value. Clear? Next you are constructing one more method. What is that method? After the constructor you are defining the destructor, protected void finalize. So system.out.println finalizing plus x, whatever the resources as accessed by this object or this class objects, it will be destroyed. Okay, next I'm using one general method for my program, void generator int I. Here the name of the method is generator. I'm using the I. Okay, so for this class, please observe here, for this class what you are creating in this statement, you are identifying. Okay, you are identifying, you are creating an object of this class. Okay, so what is the name of the object? Here the object of the class is O. Okay, right. For which class you are creating? For the same class. Clear? Yes, just a minute. For the same class you are creating. Okay, so whenever it comes, you are creating the object, and whatever the value you are supplying, that will be assigned. Here we have not assigned any value, right? Once the class fdemo, here it ends. Okay, here it ends. End of the uh, fdemo class. Now I am constructing one more class. What is the name of the class? That one more class is finalize. In this I am constructing the main method. In the main method I am using one more variable, that is count. For the count, afterwards you are defining one more object. For which class you are creating the object, please make a note here. Okay, for above class, that is fdemo class. For fdemo class you are creating one more object. The name of the object is ob. Whenever you are creating, the I value is supplied, that is 0. Okay, automatically I will be initialized as 0. Okay, now here some has been given, you just go through it. Okay, now I am writing one for loop. Okay, please observe here. Yes, where is our concept? Is observe here. Here, okay, I'm taking the lens. I think it is better. Yes, here I'm mentioning. Okay, please observe. Yes, I'm writing one for loop. Okay, I think it is visible. I think instead of this we don't need it. Let me take full screen. Yes, I'm writing one for loop. What is the for loop I'm writing? I'm writing it as for count is equal to 1. Here already we have created. What is the constructor is initialized? 0. Okay, now I'm writing one for loop. For count is equal to 1, count less than or equal to 1 lakh time. If the condition is true, ob.generator. ob.generator, here it is there. Now count value 1. First it will execute. It will be initialized. Whenever it is initializing, this x will be initialized. After the x is initialized, immediately finalize will call. Okay, if you run this program, that time it will execute 1 lakh time. 1 lakh time the object is creating, immediately destroying, immediately creating, destroying, immediately creating and destroying. Got it? So that is the aim of this program. This program will explains about the destructor. So how we can develop the destructor? By using the finalize method. Okay, next our concept is this keyword. So by using this keyword, it refers to that particular class. Okay, this keyword is used inside an instance method to refer the current object. So this keyword always specifies the particular method of that particular class. Okay, particular method of that current object of a particular class. Okay, two local variable cannot have the same name inside the same scope. We should have to know that. And to understanding this concept, we would like to have a sample program. Okay, now let us see here the sample program. I think it is visible. I don't want to zoom it. Okay, now please observe here. What is the name of the class? Box. Suppose if you attend any interview, they will ask explain this room in box. At that time you should know what is the formula of box. Box formula is length into width into height. Length into width into height. Okay, for that we are defining three variables: double width, double height and double depth. Clear? Afterwards I'm constructing, this is a box method, right? Box name of the class. If you construct a method, then it is a constructor. I am defining double w double h double variable as d. Next what I'm assigning is this dot width. I'm taking this particular class instance variable. For that variable I'm using the keyword this. Here this is the keyword. This dot width is equal to w, this dot height is equal to h, this dot depth is equal to d. Next I'm processing. What is the processing statement? Length into width into height, right? So I'm calculating double volume, return width into height into depth. Okay, so here the box class ends. Here the box class ends. Now I'm writing the another class. What is the name of the class? Box demo 7. Okay, box demo 7. I'm writing the main method. In the main method for the box class, I'm creating one object. Name of the object is mybox1. I'm supplying the parameters. So why we have to supposed to supply the parameters? Because we are constructing the constructor, right? So 10, 20, 15 will be automatically initialized with w, h and d. Okay, so 10 into 20 into 15, whatever it process, it will be stored in the volume. Whoever called this volume, the value will be returned. If I call with my another object, in another object 369 will be initialized, 3 into 6 into 9 will be processed, and whoever it calls, then it will return that value. Okay, now I am creating one more variable, double volume. Volume is equal to mybox1 dot volume. So then what I'm doing, by using this object, I'm calling this volume. So 10 into 20 into 15 will execute and it will be stored in your volume. You are displaying that volume value. Okay, once again I'm using the same variable. I'm calling the object of second class, mybox dot volume. So mybox is object 2 dot volume. So whenever you're calling, these values are initialized, 3 into 6 into 9 will be processed, and once again you are displaying that value, it will be displayed. Okay, now my question is how to save this program. Anybody can answer this? Okay, now my question is how to execute this program. Okay, I'm copying, I'm taking the notepad, pasting. Please observe carefully. This is one single program, but whenever you are saving, you should be supposed to give with, you have to supposed to give with the name which starts with main method. Okay, the name which starts with main method is very important. Copied and I'm saving. Yes, clear. Okay, this is my program, and I'm always better to add. I'm adding some statement: import java.io.stop and import java.lang.stop. Okay, yes, While saving, you should know where you are supposed to save. I'm going to file, I'm going to save. So where we have to supposed to save, we have to confirm in your C drive whether JDK 1.4 folder is exist, bin folder is exist, and I'm giving it as how to save with the name of the class. What is the name of the class? I forgot. Okay, so let me come here. So here the name of the class is exist. Here the name of the class is box demo 7 because main method is consist of a this class name, right? Box demo 7. I'm copying and I'm opening file, save, and I'm to confirm where to supposed to save in C drive, JDK folder, bin folder, and while saving .java is also provided, and click the save option. Okay, so afterwards what we have to supposed to do, we have to take our command prompt. Okay, we have to supposed to take, go through run cmd. So now your editor is ready, and let me minimize, and I'm pressing alt enter. I hope it is visible. Is it visible? Yes. So how to change the directory? cd slash. Now how to run? We have to log in into default directory /bin. Now java c class, what is the name of the program? I forgot. Anybody? Box demo 7, right? Okay, box d should be capital, box demo 7 dot java. Yes, it is executing now, running. Java, no error, demo 7. Yes, we are getting a output. Clear? Yes. Hope you understand this concept. We will continue, okay, with the next topic. Yes, likewise we can evaluate this program, and we will move to the next topic. Our next topic is Java access modifier. This question is also asked in previous question paper. You have to be go through this access modifiers. Okay, so access specifiers help you control which feature of a class, such as the class itself, its data members, and method can be accessed by other class. So till now we have learned class declaration, data members declaration, method declaration, and accessing of the class, right? So till now you are working with one or two classes, right? So now you can work with more than one class. If you want to work more than one class outside of your program, then these kinds of access modifiers are supposed to be used. So here the access modifiers are public, private, and protected. Now let us see public access. A variable or a method declared as public has the widest possible visibility and accessible everywhere. If you define the class as public, it can be accessible from outside of the class. If you define the method as a public, it can be accessed from outside of the class, right? Regardless of their package and regardless of their classes. Okay, so it means its visibility is vast. Let us see the syntax. Public data type variable. So here the data type, here the variable is there. For example, int a, if you defined it as a public, so that variable can be accessed outside of the class also. Got it? If I define the method as a public return type method, okay, here the example is given, public void sum. So this method can be accessed outside of the class also. Got it? And now we will have a simple program. Public class, name of the class is class A. What is the public? Public is a keyword, class is a keyword, and the name of the class is class A. Here we are defining, okay, so here we are defining the variable as public int I, public void method A. In method we are defining one output statement, system.out.println inside A. Here the class A as end. Okay, this class as end. I'm starting one more class, that is class B. In the class B, one more method I'm taking, it is a void method, it is not as a public. You are unable to access this method outside of the class. Okay, if you want to access, it should be a public. Okay, Now I'm creating object of a class A in class B. Okay, please observe. I will reduce. Now please observe. What is this? You are creating the object of class A in class B, and you are accessing that variable object obj.I is equal to 100. You can access this variable obj.method. You are accessing this method. Okay, you are accessing this method. This is also possible. Is there any main method here? No, right? If you create the main method, through from that main method only you can access these classes. So that is your public access specifier. Now we are moving to the private access specifier. So private fields are accessible only within the own classes. You can access those variable within their own classes. You cannot access outside of the class. They cannot be inherited. So next our concept is going to be inheritance. You are unable to inherit that class and therefore not accessible in subclasses, child classes. Subclasses means child classes. A method declared as a private behaves like a method declared as final. Please observe here, finalize we have learned that is a destructor. If you define the keyword as a final, it is a constant. How to declare the constants in Java? By using the keyword final. Okay, so here the syntax is there for the private access specifier private data type variable. If you declare the variable of a particular data type as a private, you are unable to access outside of the class. You can access only within that class. And if you define your method as a private, you are unable to access. Okay, and the default access, let us see what is the default access in your Java programming. The default access setting in which no access modifier is used is the same as public unless your program is broken into packages. So the default access of your class is public until unless your class is mentioned within packages. Then what is a package? Packages are the collection of classes, methods and interfaces which are grouped. Okay, by using that group of classes, methods, objects. Okay, simply say package is nothing but a folder, collection of folders. Okay, if you placed within a collection of folders, that folder consists of classes, methods and packages. Okay, some of coding programs. That if you want to access that coding programs in your program, until unless that default statement becomes public. A package is essentially a grouping of a classes, so it is why we are using for a grouping purpose. Okay, packages are both an organizational and an access control features. So it is an organizational and control access features. You can organize, arrange and also access those features. Now let us see the sample program. Class A, here the private variables are there, and class B, you are supposed to going to be accessing this variable. This is the last example only. If you try to access, you are unable to access because you are getting an error, incorrect. Why? Because the scope of this variable is private and the scope of this method is private. So you can access only within this class. You are unable to access outside of this class. Okay, outside of this class you are, so hence you are unable to access I variable and method variable methods from class B. Now here the sample program relevant to private and public is exist. We can just go through it. Let me see here. Class name is my class. Here we are declaring two private variables. Here the normal default access, that is a public, and it is defined as a gamma variable, right? So now I am defining one method. In the method I have declared one variable a parameter. That parameter is assigned for this variable, this private variable. Okay, here public in beta can be accessed from outside of the class, but alpha cannot be accessed outside of the class. Here the gamma is public access, default it is public. So your set alpha, in alpha you are setting alpha variable value as a get alpha. I'm getting the alpha method, I am returning the alpha. Whoever calling this get alpha method, it will return the value. Okay, now I'm coming here. Let us see the, here the class has end. Here the class, which class? My class has end here, and I'm coming here class access demo. Here the access demo, we are having main method. In the main method we are creating the object for this class. My class, what you're creating? Object. You are created the object of this class and you are accessing ob.setAlpha. So ob.setAlpha minus 99. If you print, you cannot access alpha like this. Okay, whether ob.getAlpha, get alpha can be accessible. Here it will returns 99. Here it will returns 99, but if you try to access ob.alpha is equal to 10, it is wrong. Why? Because it has declared as private variable. It has declared as private variable. Okay, now ob.beta is equal to 88. It is accessible because of public. ob.gamma is equal to 99. It is also accessible because of default access specifier is public. Got it? Yes. So that is the program here defined. You can access alpha variable is not accessible because outside it has a not accessing, and you can access beta as well as gamma. Now it is a protected access specifier. Let us see what is a protected access specifier. So class members that are declared protected are accessed in the class and in the package in which they are defined. You can access the variables which are defined as variables or method or class, whatever it may be, if you define it as a protected. So protected in the sense, just like as you are sharing your feelings with your family as well as your friends, right? You are sharing your family feelings with your family as well as your friends. Whether you share your feelings with everyone? No, right? Got it? So that is the protected access specifier. Those who are having a protected access, they can be accessed from all its classes and subclasses. Those who are having that access specification. Clear? So please observe here the protected keyword. Now protected data type variable. If you declare the variable as a protected data type, you can be accessed within that class, within that subclass, and within variant class which is having its specification. Okay. Protected return type, it is also same thing. They are also available in all classes and subclasses wherever you are defining. Okay. And now here is a sample program is exist. Let me make bigger. Let me see first what is a class here. Class block int a comma b comma c. Here defining the variable, is there any private public or default level is public, right? Here the int volume, here the public variable, right? Next block, please observe here what is the name of the class block. Within the block I am constructing the method, then what it is called constructor. Okay, so int I comma j comma k, here the three variable I have specified. For three variables I am assigning a as I, b as j, c as k, right? Now I am calculating the volume. So it is block is nothing but a box or room. Okay, so length into breadth into height, length into breadth into height we have processed. This is the constructor method here ends. Now I am coming to the another method. What is the name of the method? Boolean same block. What is the name of the method? Same block. What is its return type? Boolean. And I am passing here block object. Now what I am doing, I am passing the object as parameter. Please observe here, this is a very essential question you are going to be learning in the next slide. Okay, so you are passing object as a parameter. So whatever the object values consist, it will be supplied here. For here I am writing the condition if ob dot a equal to a, whatever the value in the object a is consist is relevant to the a, and here it is a logical and, okay, boolean and, okay, clear? ob dot b equal to b, if this condition is true, it will returns the true, otherwise else it will returns false. Okay, now I'm constructing one more method, that is boolean same volume of block ob. Boolean same volume of block ob. Okay, so what is the name of the method? Same value. Its return type is boolean, and what I'm supplying, I'm returning object as parameter. Okay, I'm returning object as parameter. Block class object I'm passing. I'm comparing ob dot volume equal to volume. Whatever the volume I have supplied, it is equivalent to this volume, then it will returns true, otherwise it will returns false. Okay, so yes, now coming here, there the block class ends. I'm writing one more class in the same program. Now what is the name of the class? Pass OB. Okay, pass object. Pass OB is in the sense pass OB. Okay, now I'm creating the main method. For the block class I'm creating the object 1 and I'm supplying this value. While creating the object, what we have to supply? We have to pass the argument. Why? Because the constructor, right? Constructor method is exist. Block 2 I'm creating one more object. I'm supplying the parameters, arguments. Block 3 while creating only I am passing the arguments. Okay, now I am calling this block ob1 dot same block of ob2. Please observe here, while displaying I am comparing ob1 dot same block ob2. So then what I am doing, I am supplying ob1 and comparing ob2. Okay, so ob1 dot same block, please come here, this is same block, right? So here I am comparing. What I am comparing? I am comparing these two values. What I am comparing? These two values. Okay. Please wait. I am comparing. Whether 10 equal to 10, true. 2 equal to true, true. 5 equal to 5, true. Got it? So whenever you are supplying this, okay, ob1 dot same block of ob2. So you are supplying the object of 2 here and comparing with object of 1. Okay, object of 2 is comparing with object of 1. Okay, so in the same sense you are comparing object of 3, object of 1 with object of 3. Whether 10 equal to 4, false. 2 equal to 5, false. 5 equal to 5, false. Got it? So it is not same dimension. And one more time I am comparing ob1 dot same volume. So here block I have compared, I am comparing the volume. Okay, so volume 10 into 2 into 5, length into breadth into height, right? So please observe here. Got it? Here we are comparing, right? So what is the value of volume? Length into breadth into height. Got it? It will checks. Clear? So what is the 10 into 2? 20. 20 into 5? 125. Is it 125? 5 to the 10. 10 is 100. 5 4 is 20. 25 is 100. It is the same, right? So here it will return true. Here it will returns true. Got it? So likewise your supply. Okay, object 1 is the same as object 2 and object 1 is the same as object 3 is false and object 1 same volume as object 3. It is true. Okay, so this question has asked, please make a note. You have to supposed to write this program only. Okay, pass objects to methods, you have to supposed to write this program only. Okay, and here it has given the theory. The same block and the same volume method compares the block object passed as a parameter to the invoking object. Here the same block and the same volume will compare according to the block objects. After the block objects, it will checks whether it is a true or false. If it is the same, it will return true. If it is a false, then it will return a false. And also we are comparing same volume with object 1 volume with object 3 volume. Okay, object 1 volume with object 3 volume. If it returns true means the values are same. Okay, so this is the question as asked for 5 marks, 6 marks. So you should be very careful with this program. And next our concept is returning object. This question is also asked. Okay, returning object is a question is also asked. You have to supposed to go through it. Now returning object, a method can return any type of data, right, including class type of you create. Whatever the class type you created, that is also returning. To understanding much, you should understand the program carefully. Class test, class test, whether it is visible, yes, visible. If it is not, I will expound it. Okay, now please observe here. What is the name of the class? Test. In the test, what I am defining? Variable. Into a variable test of int type. What is it called? Constructor. In that I have defined one parameter. That parameter is assigned for the created variable. Okay, here the constructor acts. And one more method I am taking for this class, test. So here the return type is also we can take as a class. Okay, that is the statement it has defined in the definition. Increment by 10. Increment by 10 is the name of the method. In this method, what you are defined? You are creating the object of the class. For which class you are creating? Test. Whether it is a test, What is the name of the object you are creating? You are creating the object as temp. Okay, so then what you are supplying? A plus 10, whatever the a value plus you are adding that 10, so it will be supplied to the I. Automatically it will initialize and it will return temp. Okay, whoever calling this method, whoever calling this method, then they will return temp. Okay, now here the class test ends. Now I am writing one more class. What is the name of the class? Return object. Class return object. In this we are having main method public static void main. For the test class I am creating the object. I am supplying the parameter as 2. This 2 will be initialized for I, and also here we have created 2 plus 10, that is 12. Okay, here one more object is there and here one more object is there. This object, whoever it is calling, it become 12. Whoever is calling, it become 12. Got it? So yes, next another object I am declaring. I have not created, please observe here. Here it is declared test ob2. In ob2 what I am doing? ob1 dot increment by 10. So what is ob1? It is 2, right? 2 plus 10, 12. So now the constructor is initialized as 12. Okay, so next what I am doing? Okay, now system.out.println and ob1.a. ob1.a is 2, ob2.a is 12. Okay, ob1 object 1, how many parameter you have supplied? 2. So what is a value? 2. Okay, so that is why it displays 2. ob2 what you have assigned? ob1 dot increment by 10. So you are calling this method, right? Whenever you are supplying a is assigned as 2, 2 plus 10, 12, whoever it is called, for this ob2 it is coming as a 12. Got it? Yes, likewise it will evaluate. Okay, now let me see here, one more statement is there. ob2 is equal to ob2 by increment by 10. So I am comparing ob2 by a. Then once again you are calling, whenever you are calling it will come. Now the what is the new value of a? 12. 12 plus 10, you are calling, right? Increment by a. Now the new value of ob2 is 12. 12 plus 10, 22. So it will return 22. Okay, it will be incremented by 10. Yes, likewise it will be executed. Hope you have understand this concept. We will learn the further concept in coming classes. Thank you for listening.